When I left home at 17, I wasn't chasing dreams. I was running from the weight of them. All I had was a backpack that smelled like socks and ramen, a secondhand phone, and exactly $38. I wasn't some brave adventurer. I was a broke kid who said yes to the first opportunity that sounded like not starving. That opportunity came from my cousin's friend's uncle who ran a guest house in Malta. Yes, Malta. I had to look it up on a map. There were no goodbyes. Just a long hug from my mom, a sandwich wrapped in tinfoil, and her saying, "Don't let anyone trick you out of your smile." Welcome to the guest house. Captain Emil ran the place. Not a real captain, just a wiry old man who wore a sailor's cap, smoked a pipe, and told stories so vivid I forgot half of them weren't true. Welcome to the luxury life, he told me when I arrived. The luxury life was a tiny closet-sized room with a rattling fan, suspicious bedsheets, and a sink that whined like it owed someone money. I cleaned toilets. I mopped floors. I learned to smile through hand gestures and broken English. I folded towels with the intensity of someone preparing for the Olympics. Captain Emil started calling me luxury. "You treat everything like a 5-star hotel, boy," he said, even when it's clearly a 2-star dump. My first paycheck. I worked 6 days a week, 10 hours a day. No contract, no paperwork. Just sweat, sore feet, and occasional leftover croissants from the breakfast bar. After a week, Emil handed me an envelope. Inside, 127 euros and 43 cents. I sat in the supply closet and cried. Not because of how much it was, but because I earned it. Me, with my own 2 hands. I bought a toothbrush, mismatched socks, and a chocolate bar. I sat by the harbor, feet dangling over the edge, and let the wind slap my face while I ate that chocolate like it was the world's finest delicacy. I whispered to myself, "This is enough." It was the first time in years I felt rich. Not in my wallet, in my soul. The dumbest vlog that changed my life. A week later, I filmed a short video on my phone titled, "5 Things You Learn When You Move to a Country You Can't Spell." It was chaotic, bad lighting, my voice cracked, but I was honest and funny apparently. 6 views, 1 comment. This made me laugh. Subscribed. That 1 comment hit harder than my first paycheck. Country hopping and chaos. I saved enough to take a $15 budget flight to Barcelona. Then I worked a few weeks at a hostel in Portugal for a bunk and 2 meals a day. I moved like a snail with a passport, hauling stories instead of souvenirs. In Greece, I accidentally joined a yoga retreat because I walked into the wrong Airbnb. In Italy, I burned rice so badly the smoke alarm made a dog 2 blocks away howl. I wasn't trying to be cool. I was trying not to be hungry. But I learned that if you laugh at your mistakes, people laugh with you. I filmed everything. Sometimes I uploaded videos, sometimes I just kept them for me. But slowly, the views started growing. The exploding kettle video one night in Prague, I tried to cook noodles using a kettle. It exploded. I screamed. The hostel fire alarm went off. A German backpacker serenaded the chaos with an off-key version of Despacito. That video hit 100,000 views overnight. My subscriber count jumped. Emails started flooding in. Brands wanted to sponsor me. People called me relatable, genuine, the funny travel guy. And all I could think was, I still have socks with holes in them. Staying grounded, literally and financially. Even with money trickling in, I didn't upgrade. I still stayed in shared dorms, still washed my shirts in the sink. Still got excited over $2 kebabs and hostel pancake mornings. The biggest luxury I allowed myself? A new pair of shoes. The soles of my old ones had flapped like tongues when I walked. I made a silent promise. No matter what happens, I won't forget the taste of cheap chocolate on the harbor. On chastity, curiosity, and comments, people started asking personal questions. Wait, are you really a virgin? Yep. By choice? Also, yep. Some people praised me. Others accused me of faking it for views. One guy even DM'd me a 12-paragraph essay titled, "Biology Disagrees with You." I wasn't offended, I just wasn't bothered. For me, it wasn't about shame or religion or rules. I just wanted to save something for when it actually felt right. I told a girl once in Spain. She laughed, not unkindly, and said, "You're like a unicorn made of street food and good intentions." The ice cream principle. Once I was locked out of a hostel in Vienna, cold, rainy, no phone battery. A kid walked by holding an ice cream cone. He stopped, looked at me, then handed me his ice cream. Didn't say a word, just nodded and walked away. From that moment on, I made it a life rule: be someone who would share their ice cream. A note before I go: I've been to 11 countries, filmed in 5 languages, cried in 3 airports, and eaten noodles in every time zone. I have 342 unread emails. People say travel changes you, but it didn't turn me into a different person. It just made me more me. I used to be the kid in the corner scribbling jokes in the margins of homework. Now I was in a new corner, usually a hostel bunk, editing videos at 1 a.m. while someone snored like a chainsaw next to me. But the world, it was listening. When things got weirdly big. After the kettle disaster video hit 100,000 views, things got surreal. Emails rolled in from sponsors. Want to review our hiking boots? Ever considered becoming the face of this ramen brand? Can you promote our inspirational luxury watches? No thanks. I'm still using a spoon as a phone stand, but some offers were chill. A budget airline flew me to Budapest in exchange for a vlog. A hostel chain gave me free stays if I'd tell jokes during check-in. My channel grew, so did the expectations. But I made one rule: if I wouldn't use it myself, I wouldn't sell it. Rich in views, basic by choice money started trickling in. Not yacht money, maybe upgrade my toothbrush money, but I didn't upgrade much. Still wore beat-up sneakers, still booked 12-bed dorms, still washed my clothes in sinks with the same travel soap that smelled like pine and broken dreams. People would recognize me sometimes. "Wait, yeah, are you that sock guy? The kettle dude?" One guy in Serbia just yelled, "Laundry legend," and high-fived me. It was wild. On love and lack thereof, the internet had opinions about my love life. Actually, my lack of one. Why are you still single? Are you waiting for marriage or waiting for Wi-Fi? Bro, just hook up. It's Europe. Here's the thing. I wasn't scared of love. I just wasn't in a rush. I wanted something that felt like sharing earphones on a train, not swiping right out of loneliness. Being chased wasn't a statement. It was just my choice. A quiet one. The comments ranged from "Respect, King," to "This guy's faking it for clout," to "I bet he cries after hugs." I have, okay? Once. It was a really good hug. The backpack that gave back. At some point, I realized I didn't need more stuff, but I could do more. So I emailed my old high school. I told the counselor, pick 2 kids. Ones who want to go to college but can't afford the first semester. I'll cover it. No essay, no sob stories, just hope. The school called me crying. I cried too, in a public park, next to a guy walking 3 chihuahuas who looked deeply alarmed. I didn't film it, didn't post about it, just did it. Because that's what I would have needed when I was 17. A stranger who believed in me without asking me to prove my pain. Then came the TEDx talk. One night in Morocco, I filmed myself on a rooftop talking about joy. The video was quiet. Just me, my cracked phone, and the sound of a call to prayer in the distance. It barely cracked 10K views, but someone shared it with a TEDx organizer. A few weeks later, I got an email. "We'd love you to speak. Title: Why Joy is a Revolution. Interested?" My first thought, wrong inbox. My second, I guess I better iron my shirt. Spoiler, I didn't. I just wore it under a sweater. On that stage, I stood in front of 400 people holding the same notebook I'd started journaling in at 17. I told them about the cracked kettle, the socks, the kid who gave me ice cream in the rain. I told them joy wasn't about being happy all the time. It was about not letting the world make you bitter, about dancing even when the music is bad, about saying thank you when someone gives you half a smile and a full sandwich. When I finished, they stood, applauded, cheered, and me? I just smiled and said, "I still wash my socks in sinks, by the way." I'd been gone for 4 years, 11 countries, dozens of hostels, hundreds of train rides, rooftop talks, cheap dinners, new friends, and now I was going home. Same town, same corner store, same rusted bus stop where I used to daydream about escape. But I wasn't coming back with fanfare. No private jet, no camera crew, just me, my backpack, and a ridiculous goat-themed souvenir for my mom. Yes, I bought her a hand-painted goat statue in Romania. She always joked that goats had more personality than most people. She was right. The welcome or lack of one. I walked into my childhood home and my mom screamed. "Not because you're here," she clarified while crying, "because you finally cut your hair." She made rice and eggs like she used to, only this time I didn't need to pretend to like it. I actually did. Maybe nostalgia adds flavor. My old room was smaller than I remembered. Or maybe I had grown, not just up, but outward, stretched by every story, meal, and moment. I unpacked my bag and saw my first journal, the one with "Don't Die" scribbled on the cover in Sharpie. I flipped through the pages. There I was at 17, scared, hopeful, broke, and weirdly obsessed with matching socks. The goat incident. I got invited to speak at a community center in town. Just a small group, some teens, a few parents, a local reporter who looked like he'd rather be fishing. I told my usual stories. The kettle, the ice cream principle, the failed attempt to fry eggs on a clothes iron. Still sorry, Lisbon Hostel. Then a kid raised his hand and asked, "What's the dumbest thing you've ever spent money on?" Without hesitation, a goat statue that plays music when it senses sunlight. They laughed. Hard. I realized something then. I didn't need to be viral, I just needed to be present. Legacy, light, and leftovers. I started a small foundation, nothing flashy. Just quiet support for students trying to do what I did. Leap into the unknown with a suitcase full of fear and maybe a sock or two. No applications, no pity essays, just a little help for the kid who dreams too loud for their circumstances. I funded a dozen backpacks, 5 passports, and one student's first flight to Thailand. He cried. I cried. The airline lost his luggage and we cried again, but laughed while doing it. Dinner with strangers, again. One night, a subscriber messaged me, "I'm in your hometown, want to grab dinner?" I didn't recognize the name, but I said yes. Turned out she was a nurse from Canada traveling on her gap year, inspired by one of my oldest videos. We had ramen and shared stories. She told me she used to be terrified of going anywhere alone. "I kept waiting for someone to come with me," she said, "until I realized I already had me." That hit. Because that's what I'd been trying to say all along. What I know now. I'm not famous. I'm not rich. Not in the way banks measure, but I am full of stories, of laughter, of moments where strangers became family and airports became confession booths. I never found the one, but I found 1,000 people who made me feel like I belonged, even for a moment, and I'll take that any day. Final thought. If you're reading this wondering if you should go, do it. Not because the world will be easy, but because you'll find versions of yourself you didn't know existed. Pack your bag, take the leap, cry if you have to. And when it gets hard, remember the goat, remember the ice cream, and whatever you do, don't let the world trick you out of your joy.